Before he ever stepped into our hearing room, the director had rendered our country a great and necessary public service. He showed through his report and his indictments that the United States was attacked and remains under siege by a foreign adversary. He showed that the Trump campaign both welcomed and benefited from this attack on our country. And he showed that the president repeatedly lied to cover it up. And if that were not enough, Director Mueller's testimony removed all doubt. He told us that Donald Trump obstructed justice and abused his office by tampering with witnesses, attempting to block the investigation, and attempting to fire the special counsel. He told us that Donald Trump lied to the public about the Trump Tower meeting in New York, lied to the public about his plans for Trump Tower in Moscow, and lied in his written responses to the special counsel. He told us in a remarkable exchange with Mr. Liu that but for the Department of Justice policy from prohibiting from doing so, he would have indicted President Trump.
So half of the members up here.
And let me just say, as we take questions, when they ask members of the committee to field the questions as well. We will continue to seek testimony from key fact witnesses. As many of you know, the committee has authorized several additional subpoenas. Our work will continue into the August recess, and we will use those subpoenas if we must. We will also continue to seek important documents from the Department of Justice and the White House. We have made some progress on this front. There appears to be compelling evidence of the president's misconduct outside of the four corners of the redacted version of the Mueller report, and we will work to uncover that evidence as well. Finally, today, we are filing an application for the grand jury material underlying the Mueller report. That information is critically important for our ability to examine witnesses, including former White House counsel Don McGahn, and to investigate the president's misconduct. I will not comment on reports of our ongoing negotiations with Mr. McGahn, but unless he complies with our accommodation efforts in very short order, we expect to file an additional suit to enforce our subpoena for his testimony. And that will be next week, or earlier next week.
The court filings today are the next step, and we'll continue down that road, to see whether we have the strong case that is needed to put to the American people.
Well, if you showed up expecting a Broadway show, sure, you may have been disappointed. But if you listened to what he said that the Russians attacked us. They had a preference for Donald Trump. The Trump campaign welcomed it and planned around it. And when the police investigated it, they took great lengths to cover it up, including the president. And the president is the only person in America who would be shielded from being held accountable because of what they did. That is pretty cut and dry. And what you've seen is not members who have called for impeachment saying, take me off of that call in light of what Mr. Mueller has said. 6 members since have come forward and have said, add me to that call for impeachment.
And what I believe we really should be focused on is not the performance of Mr. Mueller, but the performance or behaviors of this president obstructing justice. That's the performance you need to be examining. The performance of the Trump administration welcoming, wallowing in interference by Russia. The performance of Russia interfering with our elections in massive and sweeping ways that will continue, and a Senate yesterday that did nothing, in fact blocked attempts to take care of or protect our elections.
The accommodation process you already have with the department for these other documents you want.
We're crossing a threshold, absolutely. When you think about the mode that we were operating under before, it really was an oversight function. We're now crossing a threshold with the filing of this filing, and we are now officially entering into an examination of whether or not to recommend the articles of impeachment. So we have crossed a threshold. I just wanted to make that real clear.
Thank you very much.
Do you believe ultimately leave office being impeached by this House, regardless of timeline?
I don't know.